Good evening. Tonight we're going to show you briefly how you can set up your Artisan profiling system with your coffee roaster. We're going to first of all show you how to do that using a PC running Windows 8. And we're going to do that on a BC 3300. Please note that the exact same setup for the BC series roasters applies to the Arizona series roasters as well as the Roastmaster models. They're all running on Omron components, and so the setup is identical. After viewing how it's done on a PC, we're going to take a moment and see how it's done on a Mac. Pretty much the same. And then we're going to finish this series showing you how it's done on a Sedona. The Sedona is set up completely different because it uses the Fuji temperature controls that the Artisan software was designed for. Very simple setup, but a couple key elements that are needed in both these to get your system running smoothly. So let's get started. URL on this video for the latest downloads. Now, right now they're getting ready to release a new one within the next couple months. The very first thing to do once you bring up the Artisan profile system is to go into the configuration and make sure you choose the correct serial port. That's the port on your laptop or your computer that is connected to the coffee roaster. We're going to inject a picture here to show you the setup. You need to have all these numbers identical. The correct USB port, the baud rate at 9600, the byte size 8, the next one down is N, stop bits 1, timeout 1, on the input the slave is 1, register 0, function 3, mode C, and the float has to be checked off. Input 2, slave 1, register 2, function 3, mode C, and the float is checked off. After doing that, click on OK. And then you need to go back to config. You need to select the proper device. You want to check on the meter box here. You can see there's several different ways to hook into the roaster. On this model, you go in through the meter. And then you click on the mode bus. Make sure your ET and BT curves, as well as on the other side, are checked off. Now we're going to post the picture. You also get a PDF manual for this with your roaster. Now, one key element about the Omron system and using on the BC as well as on the Arizonas as well as on the Roastmaster is the Omron does not configure itself automatically for Fahrenheit or Celsius. So if you come up here to the top where it says roast, and you got to make sure your system is off when you do this, you come up to the top where it says roast and you go down to temperature. Once that's complete, you should see on the far right hand on your ET and on your BT the temperature range. And you can check that with your roaster. Let me see if I can get over there. and you should be able to see the exact same settings, and I can't seem to focus in on that, the exact same settings on your roaster that are on the monitor of your laptop. And if you notice that the ET and BT is backwards like I had it set initially, go ahead and make that adjustment so that you'll be able to do your roast. And so basically at this point you're ready to start. Obviously you want to start up and preheat your roaster, but you hit the start button and you'll see on the screen here a graph of the bean and ET temperature. Right now they're going to look almost side by side. You'll probably only see one line because I'm not heating. But what you do is as you heat it to the preheat, and then as you get ready to drop the beans, you click on the charge button. When you click on the charge button, it will actually mark the charge button. Then as you get into first crack, you click on the first crack button. It'll register when the first crack is. When first crack comes to an end, if you notice that, as some coffees go straight from first crack to second, you can record that point too. And as you'll see, it marks that. And then, whoops, I kind of jumped ahead. I went to the second crack. There's an interesting thing about the software. If you accidentally do what I did and you click on a button ahead, you can't go back. So make sure you click on the right button. And then when you're ready to drop the beans, you can click on the drop. At some point, you may decide to record the cooling time. And so when you're done with the cooling time, you click on that. And then when you go ahead and turn it off, it's going to ask you to save it. And then you can type in whatever name you want to save it as. Perhaps you want to name the bean or the roast type, or whatever features you want to name it as, you can choose yourself and name it that. Just type in the name, it'll ask you to save the profile, and of course I don't want to save that, but if I did, I would hit save. I would type in the name and where on the computer I wanted to save it, and then we would have that as a profile. Okay, we're going to show you real briefly how to set up the Artisan software on all of our beautiful Sedona Elites. This is my personal Sedona Elite 3200. So I'm going to zoom you in. We got it up and running. Hopefully I got it in focus. And we're going to show you how this is going to work. Pretty simple setup, but completely different than for our BCs, Arizonas, or Roastmasters. Go into the configuration. You can click on the serial port. Make sure you select the right serial port. We have that selected. Make sure the baud rate is 9600. The byte size 8. The next one 0, 1, and 1. Click OK. That's pretty much the same as on the BCs, but now device settings completely different. We're going to click on the PID. We're going to do the Fuji, which is what these come with, the Fuji type components or controls. Now this is one where it might be set 1 and 2. You want that switched over to 2 and 1 so it correctly reads your bean and environmental temperature. And you click OK. And it's that simple. You're ready to start. So you just hit the on button, and then you get ready, get set, and go. You're all good to go.